Confirmation bias is the tendency to seek out information that confirms any of our existing beliefs and perspectives while ignoring anything that might challenge them. It's not inherently bad. I'd argue it's a bit of a protection mechanism because to our brains, new has the potential to be dangerous, whereas familiar is safe. You got to remember that your body just wants to keep you alive. It doesn't care about your goals or the things that you're trying to accomplish. It wants to keep you safe and alive to keep the species going. While confirmation bias isn't inherently bad, it can quickly work against you if you're not aware of it. If nothing else, be a huge source of unnecessary frustration. Here's what it might look like in practice through the lens of fitness. I'm overgeneralizing a bit here, but one of the more common concerns for women is that lifting weights will make them bulky. Similarly, for men, it's that any form of cardio will make them lose muscle. Now, technically, both of these scenarios can be true. There is a certain way that women can eat and train that will make them bulky, right? Just take a look at competitive female bodybuilders. Clearly, it's possible to have that very muscular, bulky look. For men, if you look at any male endurance athletes, they tend to trend toward the leaner side. Yes, there's muscle there, but that's not really what they're after, right? It's much more lean than it is that kind of muscular, ripped look. But here's the thing. Worrying about these scenarios is like not driving for fear of becoming a professional race car driver. Just because it's possible doesn't mean that it's likely. Female bodybuilders and male endurance athletes train in a very specific way over the course of a long period of time, typically in the realm of years. You're not going to accidentally look like they do. It takes a lot of intention. How does this relate back to confirmation bias? I just walked you through what it might look like. If you effectively stop paying attention after I said it was possible for women to get bulky from lifting weights and for men to lose muscle from doing endurance cardio type exercising and training, confirming any existing beliefs you had on the matter, then you're likely in the grips of confirmation bias. But you aren't if you kept going and you're still listening and you're here and you're considering the points about how unlikely these scenarios actually are, right? Even if you had originally believed them to be true. So what can you do about confirmation bias? A couple things. First, be aware that it exists. Now that you've heard me talk about it, hopefully you do. Second, recognize that there is a fluidity to knowledge, or at least the application of knowledge, depending on the specific context or scenario. Things that are true in one scenario might not be in another. What works for someone else might not work for you. But that thing, whatever it is that we're talking about, I know we're speaking in some abstraction here, it's no less right or wrong, it just is. What you're doing here is you're viewing life through the lens of a question versus a statement. It's that is, right? The statement that is something versus is that, right? Which is a question, right? You're switching things around a little bit. Challenge yourself by asking, why do I believe this to be true or false? It takes a bit more effort than simply leaning on your default, but if you've made it this far, clearly you want to move past the grips of confirmation bias. So give it a try.